working with T-FLEX CAD, user can configure the system as necessary. System settings are applied to all created and not created files or documents. There are two types of system settings that allow you to customize system operations independently of a specific document. The first one is Customize. These are interface settings that include different options and menu display style. Settings for the ribbon allows you to create your own tabs and fill them with commands. The result can be exported to a file that can be transferred to another workspace. You can customize and fill with your commands the Quick Access toolbar, which is located on the left side of the screen. You can customize a toolbar. Advanced settings are available in the classic system mode. It is possible to add your own system commands. As well as assign keyboard shortcuts for the commands. All settings can be exported to the environment. To do this, create a new environment file in which the current settings will be saved. This tab displays the list of all main toolbar sets that are defined in the system. The second type of system configuration settings is Options. This dialog box allows you to configure system operations regardless of particular T-FLEX CAD document. The settings that you define will be saved for all subsequent program sessions. On the User tab, you can configure your account. On the Startup tab, you can configure the startup parameters. On the 2D tab you can define the settings used while working with 2D drawings. On the 3D tab, you can configure settings related to 3D modeling. On the Windows tab, you can configure various window options, and also specify whether to create scroll bars when creating windows. Windows here means, among other things, the Auto Menu toolbar, the View toolbar and the Selector toolbar. Each of these toolbars can be positioned in a convenient place on the screen. On the Folders tab, you can set the default file path for databases, documents, bill of materials, textures and fonts. On the Bill of Materials tab, you can configure the file paths and some options for bill of materials. On the Files tab, you can configure your own document templates with an indication of their file path. On the Fragments tab, you can define the options used in inserting and editing fragments. On the Snap tab, you can set object snapping mode and also configure the snap priorities. On the Constraints and Dimensions tab, you can configure various parameters for the sketch mode based on constraints and driving dimensions. On the Dynamic Toolbar tab you can configure the display of a dynamic toolbar and its parameters. The Color tabs defines the colors used for 2D and 3D model elements on the screen, as well as the application window colors. On the Additional Options tab, you can configure various auxiliary options. So, for example, you can set the tooltip delay for an item on hover, or the delay for a list of items under the cursor. On the Performance tab, you can set various options to speed up programs' performance in particular situations. On the Save tab, you can configure the time interval for saving the document and the options for creations a backup. The T-FLEX Docs tab defines parameters of the joint work of T-FLEX CAD and T-FLEX Docs system. These settings will be applied if T-FLEX Docs system is installed. Also, settings of individual add-on modules, such as quality control, are taken out in the options. The All tab lists all system options. Some settings are provided with detailed tips. The Settings tabs can be hidden and expanded. You can search options by their full or partial names. If necessary, you can reset the settings. This will restore default settings that were applied on the initial system installation.